throughout modern history, no weapon has shaped the battlefield quite like the assault rifle. These firearms, combining the portability of a carbine with the firepower of an automatic weapon, have defined how wars are fought across jungles, deserts, and cities. They became the backbone of modern armies and the symbol of both power and resistance in countless conflicts. But how can we decide which rifle truly stands above the rest? In this ranking, every contender is judged by three key variables. First is firepower, measuring caliber, rate of fire, and the destructive force delivered on the battlefield. The second is reliability, because no weapon can be called great if it fails in the middle of a firefight. And the third, perhaps the most decisive of all, is combat impact, which reflects how much influence the rifle had in real conflicts, its presence across global wars, and the lasting mark it left on military history. Each variable is scored from 1 to 3 stars, creating a unique total for every rifle in our countdown. The results form a progressive scale where every position climbs higher and higher until we reach the undisputed champion with the perfect 9 stars. Starting our countdown at number 5 is the FN Scar, a Belgian creation designed in the early 2000s for US Special Operations Command. With its angular, tan body and modular construction, it became one of the most recognizable rifles of the 21st century. Soldiers could change barrels, switch calibers, and tailor it to any mission. In firepower, it claims 2 stars, thanks to its versatility in both 5.56 and 7.6 to NATO. In reliability, it also takes 2 stars, with its short-stroke piston running cleaner than the classic American designs, though not perfect under heavy recoil. And in combat impact, it earns a single star, as despite its use by elite forces like Navy SEALs, Rangers, and Polish Grom, it never achieved massive global spread. That leaves the Scar with 5 stars in total, a powerful modular rifle, but one that couldn't break into the realm of legends. Rising to number 4 is the Austrian Steyr AUG, a weapon that looked straight out of science fiction when it entered service in 1977. Its bullpup design placed the action and magazine behind the trigger, delivering a full-length barrel in a compact frame. This innovation gave soldiers superior accuracy in a short weapon, perfect for both close quarters and longer engagements. In firepower, the AUG earns 2 stars, chambered in 5.56 NATO with a rate of fire around 680 rounds per minute. In reliability, it scores the maximum 3 stars. Praised for enduring deserts, jungles, and even Arctic conditions with ease. But in combat impact, it secures only 1 star, since while adopted by Austria and exported to over 30 countries, it never reached the dominance of its rivals. That brings the AUG to 6 stars, a rifle ahead of its time, but still living in the shadow of greater icons. But just when soldiers thought the future had arrived, a rifle from America was about to leave its mark on history. Taking the 3rd spot is the American M16, the weapon that defined US military might during the Vietnam War. First introduced in 1964, it promised lightweight, high capacity, and devastating automatic fire. At first, its story was disastrous, with countless malfunctions due to poor maintenance instructions and unsuitable ammunition. But once fixed, the M16 evolved into one of the most influential rifles of all time. On firepower, it earns 2 stars, firing the lighter 5.56 NATO round at a blistering rate between 700 and 950 rounds per minute. On reliability, it secures 2 stars, improving drastically after the Vietnam era, but still requiring regular cleaning compared to other designs. And on combat impact, it takes the full 3 stars. With over 8 million produced and used by US allies around the world, shaping not only the Cold War, but decades of modern warfare. That gives the M16 a total of 7 stars, making it one of the most iconic rifles of the 20th century. But just when it seemed unshakable, German engineering delivered a new challenger designed to combine the best of both East and West. At number 2 stands the HK416, developed by Heckler & Koch in the early 2000s. This rifle took the familiar ergonomics of the American M4 and perfected it with a piston-driven system that eliminated the weaknesses of direct impingement. It became an instant favorite among elite forces, offering precision, reliability, and adaptability in one sleek package. In firepower, it secures 3 stars. Firing 5.56 NATO at around 850 rounds per minute with razor-sharp accuracy. In reliability, it also claims 3 stars. Enduring mud, sand, and freezing temperatures with unmatched consistency. And in combat impact, it holds 2 stars, as it was adopted by France, Norway, and numerous special forces units worldwide. But its relatively recent introduction means it hasn't yet achieved the universal reach of older legends. That brings the HK416 to 8 stars, making it one of the most advanced rifles of the modern era. But just when it seemed like no weapon could surpass this modern marvel, one design, older than them all, still stands above the rest with a perfect score. Number 1 is the most famous rifle in human history, the Soviet AK-47. Designed by Mikhail Kalashnikov in 1947 and officially adopted in 1949, it became the symbol of revolution, resistance, and raw power across the globe. Its simple design, rugged reliability, and devastating firepower made it the most produced firearm ever, with over 100 million units in existence. In firepower, it scores 3 stars, chambered in 7.62 by 39 millimeters, delivering brutal stopping power at close and medium ranges with a steady rate of 600 rounds per minute. In reliability, it takes 3 stars again, functioning in mud, sand, snow, and neglect like no other rifle can. And in combat impact, it secures the maximum 3 stars, arming national armies, insurgents, and freedom fighters alike. From the jungles of Vietnam to the deserts of the Middle East, from the mountains of Afghanistan to the plains of Africa, the AK-47 has been everywhere. It became such an icon that its silhouette even appears on national flags, forever etched into history as the rifle that changed the world. With a flawless 9 stars, the AK-47 is the undisputed king of assault rifles. And so our journey comes to an end. From the modular Belgian Scar to the futuristic Austrian August, from the American M16 to the German HK416, and finally to the unstoppable Soviet AK-47, these rifles defined warfare, strategy, and survival itself. They are not just weapons, they are milestones of history, each one leaving a mark on the soldiers who carried them and the nations that built them. What makes this ranking truly fascinating is how each rifle reflects the era it was born into. The SCAR embodies 21st century modularity, crafted for elite units that demanded adaptability above all else. The AUG captured the futuristic spirit of the late Cold War, proving that radical design could change how soldiers fought in tight urban spaces. The M16, despite its rocky beginnings, grew into a symbol of American power. The HK416 shows how lessons from the past were refined into near perfection, representing the cutting edge of precision and durability. And then there is the AK-47, older than most of its competitors, yet still unrivaled in its reach, simplicity, and cultural impact. Together, they tell the story of how modern conflict has evolved. Assault rifles are not just tools of destruction, but reflections of strategy, politics, and technology. They decide the outcome of battles, empower insurgencies, and sometimes even symbolize entire nations. Their silhouettes appear in propaganda, on flags, and even in pop culture, reminding us that the line between military hardware and human history is thinner than we imagine. But perhaps the greatest lesson is that perfection doesn't always belong. To the newest creation, the AK-47, designed with pencil and paper in the aftermath of World War II, remains unmatched by rifles born of advanced computers and decades of research. Its endurance proves that sometimes simplicity triumphs over sophistication, and rugged reliability can outweigh even the most advanced engineering. As we look to the future, nations continue to experiment with new calibers, advanced optics, smart fire controls, and polymer materials that reduce weight and improve accuracy. Tomorrow's rifles may track targets with artificial intelligence or link directly to digital battlefield networks. Yet, despite all this innovation, one question remains: can any of them dethrone the timeless legend of the AK-47?